Imagine you've spent years fighting for a country, given everything, your youth, your family, your health, and when you come home you're treated like a stranger in your own land. It sounds like a nightmare, doesn't it? But for some it's not just a nightmare, it's their reality. This is my story. I'm Tommy Keller, a man who went to war for this country, only to return and face a battle much darker than any battlefield I ever fought on. I'm 34 years old, living in Kansas, a small town where everyone knows everyone, and we're supposed to be proud of our service. Before I proceed, kindly subscribe and comment. Hell, we're all supposed to be proud of our country. But I'm starting to wonder if that pride was ever real, or if it was just something they sold us along with a uniform and a flag to salute. I served my time in the army, stationed in places I'll never forget, the heat, the dust, the constant fear, but I also had my dreams. Dreams of coming home to a life that made sense again. I thought the war would end when I took off my boots. But when I came back, I learned the real fight wasn't over. It was just beginning. And it was with the country I had given everything for. The betrayal I felt, it was worse than any injury I ever took. The air smells different when I step off the bus. Kansas, my home, but it feels strange now, like I'm looking at it through someone else's eyes. The streets are quieter than I remember, and the familiar faces in the crowd seem distant, almost unrecognizable. I wasn't expecting parades, but I thought there'd be more than just a few people milling around. I stand there, my duffel bag slung over my shoulder, and watch the small crowd gather. A handful of people wave, but there's no real joy, no signs that they're genuinely glad to see me. The welcome home I thought I'd get, a hero's welcome, isn't there. I feel a knot form in my stomach. My heart sinks, but I stand taller, forcing a smile that feels more like a mask than anything genuine. As I move through the crowd, I catch a few awkward glances, a few murmured words that I can't quite catch. They all seem to know something I don't. It's as though I've stepped into a life that's no longer mine. I had imagined this day differently. I thought there would be a celebration, a sense of pride, something to make me feel like my years of service meant more than just the medals on my chest. But instead, I feel like an outsider in my own town. Flashback to a sun-scorched desert, the roar of helicopters, the crack of gunfire ringing through the air. The chaos of war, the brotherhood forged in fire, and the endless days of survival. I joined the army right out of high school, 17 years old, hungry for something bigger than me. I wasn't looking for glory. I was looking for a purpose. Out there, in the heat of battle, we lived and died by each other. The camaraderie, brothers no matter where we came from. Every day was a battle, but we fought for each other, and that made all the difference. We saw things, horrible things, that no one should ever have to see. But we kept going, kept pushing forward. And when we returned home, we thought we'd be rewarded. That's what they told us. Now, looking back, I can almost hear the words from that recruiting officer. When you serve your country, it serves you in return. What a lie that turned out to be. I thought the country would appreciate us, honor us, and most of all, care for us. That's what they promised. But standing here now, I can see how naive I was. Nothing was ever going to be the same again. The first cracks in the dream begin to show up quickly. I try to move on, to forget the sharp pain of disappointment, but it's harder than I imagined. I visit my parents' house first. I'd imagined their embrace, the warmth of their smiles, the pride in their eyes. Instead, when my mother opens the door, I can see the hesitation in her eyes before the hug. She's nervous. Something feels off. It's not what I expected. We sit down to dinner, but the conversations feel forced. Everyone's avoiding the elephant in the room, what I saw, what I've been through. They don't ask, and I don't know how to say it. I can't even get the words out. The silence grows, heavy and suffocating. Later that week, I sat down with my brother, Mike. He's always been the one person I thought I could count on. We've been through everything together. But today, as we sit on the porch, I realize just how far apart we've grown. Tom, you've got to snap out of it. This PTSD thing, it's all in your head. You just need to get back to normal, he says, not even looking me in the eye. His words hit me like a punch in the gut. I stare at him, my mouth dry. It's not that easy, Mike. It's not just in my head. You don't get it. I can feel the frustration building in my chest, the anger, but it's mixed with something else, pain. He shakes his head, dismissing me. You've got everything, man. A wife who loves you, a family who's here. So why are you acting like this? You're not the same. You're just different. His words sting like salt on an open wound. I feel the weight of them settle in my chest. He's right about one thing, I'm different. But he doesn't understand. How could he? He hasn't lived what I've lived, seen what I've seen. I stand up, unable to keep sitting there any longer. The weight of my service, the years of sacrifice, everything I've lost, it crashes down on me in that moment. I'm different because I was made to be different. I've seen things, Mike. Things I can't unsee. Things you'd never understand. I thought it was just bureaucracy. I had been patient at first, just a little paperwork, right? But it's been weeks since I filed my first claim. Months since I asked for help. The system said it would help veterans like me, the ones who gave everything. But I'm learning quickly that nothing here is as it seems. I walked into the VA office one morning holding my breath. The same sterile smell, the same worn chairs. The place is filled with veterans, each of us hoping for the same thing, care. Yet, we all sit in silence, our eyes glazed over from years of waiting. I've been here 3 times already this week, but today it's different. The line is longer, the air more oppressive. I take a seat and wait. And wait. Hours pass, the clock ticking louder in my head. I want to scream, but instead, I watch the time bleed away. Finally, my number is called. I approach the counter with a practiced calm, but the clerk's face is blank, almost tired. She barely looks up from her screen. You'll need to come back tomorrow with the proper paperwork, she says, her voice dull. I want to argue, to demand answers, but what's the point? They've all seen this before, veterans like me chasing after something they'll never catch. I turn to leave, the weight of the rejection settling on my shoulders like lead. But this isn't the worst of it. The real betrayal is that they don't care. They never cared. Not when we were out there fighting their wars. Not now when we're home and broken. The country I fought for is abandoning me. I can feel the anger building inside me. It simmers, threatening to boil over, but I keep it hidden like the military taught me. I put on my best face, my calm exterior, and I show up at rallies, at protests, trying to get anyone to listen. I tell my story, our story, but no one wants to hear it. I'm met with cold stares, polite nods, and the occasional, "We'll look into it." The same words I've heard for months. They don't care. They never cared. My voice is just one in a sea of noise. At one rally, I find myself standing on the steps of a government building, my voice trembling but loud. I speak out, calling for change, for the truth to be seen. But instead of support, I'm met with dismissal. A politician steps forward, putting a hand on my shoulder with a condescending smile. "I understand your frustration, Mr. Keller, but you need to stop stirring the pot." Stop stirring the pot? I almost laugh in his face. I'm fighting for the men and women who are forgotten. You're the ones who let them slip through the cracks, and I'm done being quiet about it. The politician's smile fades and I see it, the label. "Trouble," he whispers to his aide. "Ungrateful." He doesn't even look me in the eye as he walks away, leaving me standing there, suffocating on my own rage. I know what they think of me. They see me as just another disgruntled veteran, just another voice in a sea of complaints. But the truth is, I'm not the one who's wrong. They are. And I'm not going to let them get away with it. Not anymore. The weight of it all begins to settle into my bones. My relationship with Grace grows more strained by the day. She's always been my anchor, my constant in this world that feels like it's spinning out of control. But lately, I don't know who I am anymore, and I don't think she does either. "Tom, you need to let it go," she says one night, her voice soft but filled with concern. We're sitting at the kitchen table, and I'm staring at papers from the VA that are stacked in front of me. The weight of them suffocates me, and I can't breathe. "I can't just let it go, Grace," I reply, my voice sharp. "These people took everything from me. I'm not going to just sit here while they get away with it." I know, she says, her hands trembling as she reaches out to touch mine. "But you're losing yourself in all this anger. I don't know who you are anymore, Tommy." I pull my hand away. "I'm a man who gave his life to this country, and it's betraying me now. Don't you see that? I can't walk away from this." My voice cracks as the anger turns to despair. They promised us they'd take care of us. They lied. She's silent for a moment, her face filled with a quiet sadness. I don't know what to do, Tommy. But you can't let this destroy you. I stand up, pacing the room. I don't have a choice, Grace. It's already destroyed me. That night, as I sat in the living room, the weight of the day's battles pulling at my chest, there's a knock on the door. When I open it, there's no one there. But on the doorstep lies an envelope, plain and unmarked. I open it, my hands shaking, and read the letter inside. I have information about a high-ranking official who is part of the scheme to defraud veterans. He's been denying benefits to hundreds of us, and he needs to be stopped. My heart pounds in my chest. It's a call to arms, a chance to take the fight to the heart of the corruption that's been feeding off of us for so long. The letter offers no name, no way to contact the person who sent it, just a trail of information. I hold the letter in my hands, my mind racing. This is my chance. This is my new mission, to expose the people who have made a fortune off of our pain, to bring them to justice. But there's a dangerous path ahead, and I know I'm stepping into something much bigger than I ever imagined. It starts with a name, Senator Jameson, an influential figure I'd never thought twice about. But the deeper I dig into this tangled web of corruption, the more I uncover. This isn't just about a few bad apples in the VA. This goes all the way to the top. It's a systematic, calculated betrayal, one that's been in place for years, designed to steal from those who serve their country with pride. I've seen enough now to connect the dots. Jameson, along with several high-ranking officials, have been orchestrating a scheme where veterans' benefits are siphoned off into private accounts. Not just a few veterans, hundreds of us, all left out in the cold while these men profit from our pain. They've been using us as pawns in their game, withholding the benefits that we were promised in exchange for the blood we shed. I could hardly believe it at first. How could I not have seen this before? How could the country I gave my life for let this happen? The rage burns in my chest, but it's cold, calculated now. This isn't just betrayal. It's a war within a war, and I'm ready to expose it all. Just when I think I'm about to break the story wide open, just when I'm getting ready to send the emails, to release the documents that could bring down everyone involved, I'm ambushed. It happens fast. 1 second I'm walking down the street, phone in hand, preparing to make the call that will change everything. The next second I'm grabbed from behind, a cloth over my face. A sharp pain in my side as I'm thrown into a van. The door slams shut and I'm plunged into darkness. I can feel my heart pounding, blood rushing through my ears. I struggle, but they're too strong, too quick. I try to make sense of what's happening. Who are they? Who's behind this? But before I can even form the question, the van screeches to a stop, and the doors are thrown open. They pull me out, blindfolded, and drag me into a cold room. A man's voice cuts through the silence. You should have stayed out of this, Tommy. Some things are better left in the dark. I'm thrown to the ground and the blindfold comes off. I don't recognize the man standing in front of me, but there's something familiar in the way he moves. He's well-dressed, his eyes cold and calculating. You don't get to win this, Tommy, he says. The truth you think you know? It's not worth the lives it'll cost. Not yours, not your family's. You don't want to be a part of this war. I feel the walls closing in on me, the weight of my choices crashing down. But as I stare at the man, I realize one thing: I'm deeper than I ever thought. They'll do anything to keep their secret. And I've just put a target on my back. I manage to escape. Barely. My heart races as I make my way back to my car, but I know that the moment I go public with what I've found, I'll be marked. The danger is real now. I got home late that night. I'm still shaking, my body battered, my mind reeling. I don't even have time to think about what just happened before there's a knock at the door. I opened it to find Mike, my brother. His face is drawn, tired. He steps inside without saying a word. What's going on, Mike? I ask, the anger from earlier still bubbling in my throat. He looks at me, his expression hard, and something in his eyes tells me that the truth is finally about to come out. I know what you're doing. His voice cracks as he speaks. And I need to tell you something. I stand there, confused. What do you mean, Mike? He takes a deep breath and steps closer, lowering his voice. I've been working for them. The ones you've been fighting. The ones who've been lying to you. I'm part of the system. I've been part of it all along. The words hit me like a slap. My mind races to process what he's saying. My brother, the one person I thought I could trust, is part of the very machine I've been fighting against. What? What do you mean? You've been part of this. I'm struggling to breathe, the room spinning around me. I couldn't stop it, Tommy. I tried, but they have control. They know everything. If I try to expose it, they'd destroy me. They'd destroy us. The system is too powerful. His eyes are full of regret, full of fear. I feel the betrayal like a knife in my chest. Mike, the one person I thought would stand by me, the one I thought had my back all these years, has been a part of the very conspiracy I've been trying to expose. You sold me out, I whisper, the hurt in my voice cutting deeper than I thought possible. I didn't sell you out. I didn't have a choice, he says, his voice cracking. The truth, it would destroy us. You have no idea what they'll do to us if you push forward. I can't let you tear us apart. I stare at him, my heart breaking. Was it worth it, Mike? Was it worth betraying your own blood for a system that's already destroyed us? Was it worth it? The words come out like venom. Mike looks away, unable to meet my eyes. I didn't want to do this. I never wanted to betray you. But I had no choice. The system is too strong. It would have destroyed us both if I hadn't done what I did. Please, Tommy, understand. I take a step back, my breath shallow, my mind spiraling. I don't understand. I can't understand. You betrayed me, Mike. And I can't forgive that. I stand in front of the mirror, the weight of everything pressing down on me. My hands shake as I grip the edge of the sink, my reflection barely recognizable. The face staring back at me is worn, haunted, a far cry from the man I was when I first joined the army. I've been in wars, fought battles with my brothers by my side, but this feels like the hardest fight yet. The choice is clear, but the price is steep. Expose the truth. Tear down the system that betrayed me, my brothers, my family. I could make them pay for everything they've done, the corruption, the lies, the suffering. It would be my justice, but it would come at a cost. The system has its ways of fighting back. I've seen it firsthand. I've felt it in my bones, the danger that lingers with every decision I make now. Or I could walk away. Let it go, live a quiet life, try to forget the betrayal that's gnawing at my soul. But I know I can't do that. I've seen too much. The people I fought alongside, the ones who came home and died in silence because they were abandoned, they need someone to fight for them. I need to fight for them. I take a deep breath and I make my choice. Revenge isn't always violent. Sometimes, the deepest cuts come from exposure, from ripping the curtain down and showing the world what lies beneath. I spend the next few days in hiding, piecing everything together. I don't trust the traditional channels anymore. The media, the politicians, the government. They've been a part of this corruption. I need to be the one who exposes it. I take to social media. I created a website, anonymous but unmistakable. I compile the evidence, the documents, the testimonies, the names. It's all there. The web of deceit, the lies, the veterans left to rot while those in power fatten their pockets. I go to the press. I don't give them the option to ignore it. I send them an email loaded with proof, a warning. This is the story you've been avoiding. This is the story the world needs to hear. The first few days are quiet. But then it happens. The story breaks. The media swarms, the headlines scream. The corruption is exposed. The world begins to see what the country has done to its own veterans. I watch it unfold from a distance, my heart pounding in my chest as the news spreads. For the first time in months, I feel a glimmer of hope. They're listening. People are talking. Veterans are speaking out, sharing their stories, finally finding the strength to demand what's theirs. But the relief is short-lived. The backlash begins. My family, my relationships, they're fractured beyond repair. Grace, my wife, doesn't know who I am anymore. She's afraid for me, for us. She tells me that I've become obsessed with the fight, that I've lost sight of what really matters. Mike won't even look at me anymore. He can't. His betrayal has left a permanent scar between us, one that will never heal. I stand alone now in more ways than one. But even in the darkness, even with the wreckage of my personal life around me, I know I did the right thing. I fought for justice, not just for myself but for every veteran who came home to nothing. For every man and woman who was used, discarded, forgotten. The battle may not be over, but the truth is out now. And that's a victory I'll carry with me, even if I have to carry it alone. I sit in my car watching the news on my phone. The camera zooms in on a protest outside a government building, veterans holding signs, their voices raised in defiance. It's a beautiful sight, a sign that the country isn't all that's broken. The people, the ones who've been betrayed for so long, are finally taking their stand. My phone buzzes. It's an unknown number. I hesitate, then answer. Tommy Keller? The voice on the other end is familiar, though I haven't heard it in years. It's a reporter. She's asking about my role in exposing the corruption. I know I'll never go back to the life I had before this. I'll never be the same man. The scars are too deep. But maybe that's okay. Because the man I've become, broken, battered, betrayed, has made a difference. I didn't do this for the glory, I say into the phone, my voice calm but steady. I did it for the ones who came home and were left to die in silence. This isn't about me. This is about them. I hang up, lean back in my seat and let out a long breath. The battle's not over. It never is. But for the first time I feel like I've won something real. Something that matters. And maybe that's enough. I thought it was over. I thought the fight was done. I thought I had exposed the truth, forced the world to see the corruption that had cost so many of us everything. The media was still buzzing, the protests still filling the streets. For the first time in years, I thought I could finally breathe. Maybe, just maybe, I could start to put my life back together. But then the phone rings. The number is unfamiliar, but I answer anyway. My heart beats faster as the voice on the other end speaks. Tommy Keller? This is John Hargrave with the Department of Veterans Affairs. We need to discuss the situation you've brought to light. I tense, every muscle in my body locking up. I know what's coming before he says it. The bait is clear. We've been reviewing your case and we're prepared to offer you a settlement, Hargrave continues, his voice cold, professional. A lump sum payment in exchange for you dropping the matter, keeping quiet about the findings. We believe this is in the best interest of everyone involved. Consider it a fair resolution. My fingers tighten around the phone, the anger rising in my chest. They think they can buy me off. They think they can silence me with money. I know how this game works. It's the same tactic they've used with every veteran before me, dangle the carrot of a quick payout, promise peace in exchange for silence. It's the same thing they've done to hundreds of men and women who gave their all, only to be thrown aside when their service is no longer useful. I don't even hesitate before I speak. I'm not interested, I say, my voice steady but cold. You can keep your money. I've already walked away from this game. There's a brief silence on the other end. The official seems caught off guard, but I'm not surprised. They didn't expect me to refuse. I'll be keeping the fight going, I add, my words slow and deliberate. But this time I'll fight on my terms. You'll see. I hang up without waiting for a response, and for the first time in a long while, I feel something like peace. It's not the peace of giving up. It's the peace of knowing that I'm choosing the fight. No one can control me anymore. I've made my own path and there's nothing they can offer me to turn back. It's been a long road. Longer than I ever imagined. I stand outside the courthouse now, the building looming over me like a monument to all the battles I've fought. The system, the lies, the betrayals. But I'm done. No more playing by their rules. The camera follows me as I step away from the steps, walking slowly but with purpose. My face is hard, my steps resolute. The weight of everything I've been through is written in the lines of my face, but there's a fire in my eyes, a fire that's still burning. As I walk, the camera lingers on me for a moment, capturing the quiet resolve that now defines me. This fight is far from over. The journey I've started doesn't have an end. The truth is out, but there's still so much to do. But now it's not about taking down the system. It's about fighting for the future, fighting for the generations of veterans who are still out there, still being ignored, still being betrayed. I stop for a moment, my face turning toward the horizon, the wind brushing through my hair. I'm not just a soldier anymore. I'm a symbol, a voice for the voiceless. And I'll keep fighting not just for myself, but for all the men and women who are still waiting to be heard. The final words come in a quiet voiceover, reflecting the depth of my resolve. No one is truly free until they choose their own fight.